Finally. Good afternoon, Encompass. This is Mitch Williams. We're going to talk about the Hisense refrigerator, the HRM260N6TSE. Okay. Apologize about being a couple of seconds late there. Looks like I had an issue with StreamYard. Thank goodness it was them and not me. I hit go and it never went. I kept waiting for it to play. So I apologize about that, but let's go ahead and get started. One of the things that I want to cover is our Encompass University training. Okay, there are actually hang on one second. Okay, there are actually classes going on. As you can see right here, here's the Magic Shelf NCS dryer, 3.5 compact dryer. That's on May the 1st. Then on Refrigerator 101, that's on May the 6th. Then we've got lockering. We have a GE refrigerator dishwasher training. That will be down in Davie, Florida. So that's on May the 8th. So if you're down in that area, please go ahead and make sure that you register for that training. Since this GE training is put on by the manufacturer, it's a one-day training, and so there's no cost to you. So it behooves you to go there and to learn all you can from the people there. Then in Lawrenceville, we have a 4-day refrigeration training. That is a $975 cost. That's done in Lawrenceville. Okay. Then we have our Amana dryer training here, Medea refrigerator and PTAC. That would be a great training. I'd love to go to that one. Just to learn a whole lot more about PTAC systems. Okay, that's down in the Dallas area. So if you're near that Dallas Training Center, they're at 701 Spinks Road. Please go down there, sign up for it, and attend. That would be a great training. Something I would really love to see. Now, once again, this is put on by Medea, so there's no cost for that. The 2-day training, that's the lockering and seal system. That would be $500, and that's at the Lawrenceville Training Center. Okay. Then we have a virtual class here. This is the GE Smart HQ. Learning the difference between traditional diagnosis and the Smart HQ training. This is I really like this GE Smart HQ device. I'm trying to get them to send me one so that I can have it hooked up and can actually train on it a little better than what I have. The training that I have is from my old friend at GE, and I tried to write it down, and it's really, I can't put in everything that he put in because of the size of the training. So I have to break it up, and it's almost like one slide per every, and then I have to go to another slide, and the slide I have to leave the StreamYard video and put it on another one. So I'm working on that, getting that a whole lot better. Then we have there in Lawrenceville, there's Medea. That's the PTAC and refrigeration training. That's one that I may try to do. That's actually May 23rd, day after my birthday. So then we have selling a PMP, preventative maintenance program. I think that's a really good one. Then basic microwave repair. If you have some young technicians that are there about microwaves, that would be great. So we've got, of course, we have repairing an ice maker. This is 101. We have the lock ring introduction. Then we have a 4-day training. It's $975. That's in Lawrenceville. Okay. Then we have on June the 10th, there's a commercial ice maker repair, a 2-day training for lock ring. That's at the Lawrenceville Center. That would be a great one to go to also. I'm trying to see the ones. These are Scotsman, under the counter ice makers, Manitowoc, all of those. So listen, just those were great trainings that they have all lined up. It doesn't cost you, just like this one, except for those. If you go onto the website, how are we doing, John? If you go onto the website, you can sign up for it. If there's a charge, it'll tell you that there's a charge, and you can go ahead and get all that taken care of. I will, like I said, I'm going to try to go to the one that's the day after my birthday. I may not make it to that one, but because I do have a Thursday class, and I don't know that I will be able to make it, but that's something that I'm really striving to do. Okay, so let's talk about this honey's HRM260N6TSE. Okay, the features and the configuration. This is a 4-drawer. This is a 4-door refrigerator. It has 2 bottom drawers, and then it's got 2 top drawers that are the refrigerator section. Okay, the second drawer down that you pull out, you can set that to be either a freezer, or you can put it for like cold drinks or deli trays. Those will all fit in there. It's a good thing. Most everybody has one very similar to it. They have the Versa temp zone, which is their new temp zone that they have. We have a Wi-Fi functionality to control and monitor remotely with the Connect Life. This is their addition to the GE Smart HQ. It has a 2-year limited warranty, and the water filter is located in the frost-free section. Okay, so here's some things about this refrigerator. You know, the ice maker is in the frost-free zone, just like it is on most of the others that are a 4-door refrigerator. It has LED lights. That's everything that you have that's on the refrigerator. It has that flexible LED. The freezer has no LED light in it, so that is a little bit of a change. We have 3 individual evaporators, one for the freezer, one for the refrigerator, and one for the ice maker. Okay, so if I just damage the unit that is in the ice maker itself, that evaporator, if I damage it, it's going to be very difficult for me to fix. So some of the ones that are out there, you can't repair it. If you damage that, let's say I damage that whenever I'm removing the ice maker, and that I cause a problem and I cause a leak in the system, I bought a refrigerator. Basically, you can try to repair it with the lock ring system, but it's going to be a hit and miss. Depends on where you damage it at. If it's right at the joint, you're probably not going to be able to fix that one. You have to be very careful whenever I'm removing this ice maker, just like all the others that have the ice maker that has the loop in it. Samsung comes to mind. This one, it has the same thing. The one good thing I can say is the one that I bought is actually in the freezer section, and it does not require a different. It doesn't require a different evaporator. So the water valves, all the water valves are located inside of the frost-free air duct. Okay. So that's going to be a little bit for you to change. The first time you do it, it's going to be difficult for you to do. You just think about that whenever you're going to the house. The frost-free door switches are located inside the top cover. So you're going to have to remember that that's where those are located. Okay. The water tank is also inside the frost-free air duct. Okay. So I keep going through this, and I don't know if it's just me, but one of the problems that as a technician, as an installation manager, I always had people calling me that, hey, I got this thing. All my refrigerator quit. It won't do anything. I get a light in it, but that's all that happens. Well, if I put this into demo mode, guess what? That's exactly what I get. I get my lights. I get no compressor. I get no anything else moving around. All I get is the light. So that's demo mode. I've got to be able to know how to take it out of demo mode. So if I am going to check this unit, okay, and I am going to take it out of demo, I need to go to I'm going to keep the fridge door open. I'm going to hold the alarm and the FC together for 3 seconds. You see where that is right there? That's the blue button is the button that you need to push. Okay. It will now enter the demo mode. To exit, I'm going to press the alarm and the frost free together for 3 seconds, which that puts it in and takes it out. So all I do is, if it's in demo mode, I hold that alarm and the FC button, and that's the Fahrenheit and the Celsius button. I'm going to hold those two buttons in for 3 seconds. It's going to take me out of it. So I need to know that. Okay. The display light board and the light will turn on in demo mode, and all the other functions don't work. So that's what I've been telling you about, is that if it's caught up in demo mode, I have to know how to fix that. Now, as a technician, if I had a customer call me and I knew the customer and I try to take care of my customer, I would let her know and get her to try it one time. If she couldn't get it for it to work, I'll be more than happy to come out. But this time of year, I'm starting to get booked up. I'm usually probably 2 days out at this time of year. Once I get to be June, July, August, I'm booked out anywhere from 3 to 7 days. It's what we used to have. So just to remember, this is the way to take it in and out of demo mode. Okay. So the ice maker, if I want to do a manual test on the ice maker, start to push out the ice out the first time, I'm going to hold the alarm and cube for another 3 seconds. The valve for the ice maker will open, and then I can unplug the refrigerator to stop it. Okay. So that's what I have to do to test the ice maker, which is a whole lot better than the Samsung that I used to have that my at my dad's house. For it to for me to be able to get it off, the only way I could do was to manually do it this way. Okay. If I want to put it into a forced defrost, which is very, I had to do this with my dad's probably once a month. I had to put it into a forced defrost, or else the ice maker would freeze up and it just wouldn't work at all. So after I plugged it in, I'm going to hold the alarm in the freezer for 3 seconds. The display will show DF. Okay. When the defrost heaters, both the freezer heater and the ice maker heater, will turn on at the same time. Okay. So that's the freezer and the ice maker heater. Both of those will come on. Okay. Now let's go back to that just a second. This will shut down on the bimetal. Okay. So if I've got the bimetal and it says, oh, I'm done, it will shut down. So you got to remember that that I may have to put it into forced defrost again just to get it totally off. I will tell you, do not use a heat gun or a hair dryer to go away from that. Okay. I use a steamer. I don't necessarily have the best method. I'm just telling you that's what I use. That's my preferred method. I don't want to melt anything in the refrigerator. I don't want to melt anything in the ice maker. So I just want to be sure that I'm doing it properly. Plus, if you use the heat gun and I'm in the refrigerator section, fixing the ice maker, I can cause warping. I can cause gaps to form because of the heat, because that heat has to go somewhere. Okay, so here's how I do this. Okay, so I hold this alarm in the fridge button for 3 seconds. Now the unit will enter the check mode. Okay, so to keep it rolling, I'm going to press the fridge button to switch to the next display. So for the first time that I press it, I'm going to get the freezer temperature. Okay, so it will show it in the frost-free zone. Okay, if I press it again, which would be the second time, so if I hit 1, 2, okay, that's going to give me the freezer temperature. Okay, that will display in the frost-free zone still. Okay, if I hit it 3 times, I'm going to get the flexible temperature. Okay, so if I'm going to have the first time I hit it, I get 1R. That's going to tell me that I'm in the frost-free temperature zone. If I hit it twice, I get a 2 and then a capital F, and that tells me that I'm in the freezer evaporator temperature. If I get a flexible temperature and hit it 3 times, I get 3B. There's nothing that shows up in that display. Okay. 4 times, I get the ice maker room temperature. Okay, that is the ice maker evaporator temperature. So if I am actually in it and I'm trying to figure out what the problem is, that's one of the things that I definitely want to do is to put this into the check mode, punch in the 3 times. That's going to tell me my ice maker temperature, because we all know that it will not harvest if it's any warmer than 10 degrees. So you got to make sure that you're down around 0 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, if I hit it the 5th time, okay, I get the environmental temperature. Okay, which is 5E will be in the display. That is the environment temperature. In other words, it's the room temperature. Okay, if I hit it 6 times, the water injection issue. Okay. If I have, it will show EP or 00. Okay. The ice maker turns over. And that's what it will, if it use the EF, else you'll get a 00. Okay. Then the display board communication, if I punch it 7 times, I get the display board communication. Okay. That will be red, that will show 7D. If I punch it 8 times, I'm going to get the display board communication. Okay. I need to know that the communication, there is communication between the display board, okay, and the refrigerator. So I've got to be sure that I've got all of those. Okay. Repair mode. Okay. If I do this within 10 seconds of powering on, I'm going to press the alarm in the eco. Okay. The system enters the repair mode. FF digits display in the part code. Okay. The flexible digits display on-off indications. Okay. Enter the repair mode. Start the display at 0, 1, and 0. Press the FC switch to for the part code. Then press Eco to switch off the control. Otherwise, you have to unplug it and let it sit for 5 minutes. Okay, so here's my part code mode. 0, 1 is the damper. Okay, I'm going to have 0 in the display, and it's going to show off. Okay, if I have a 1 in the display, I'm going to show on. The evaporator fan, you're going to either have a 0 for it being off, which if I have the door open, it should be 0. Because it should be off. In the display, I'm going to have a 1. If you're not going to be able to tell it if I have the door open. Okay. If I have the third part code is 03, and of course that's the compressor. And of course, if the compressor's not running, if it's off, it's going to be 0. If it's on, it's going to have a 1. All right. If I have a 40, so the fourth code pressed, I will get a defrosting heater. If it's not in defrost, I'm going to get a 0. And then if I have it on, it'll be a 0, 1 in the display. The cooling valve. Now, here's the interesting thing, okay? This has 2 cooling valves in it. So you're going to have to know which one I am, okay? So if I am in cooling valve number 1, same thing. 0 means that it's switching to frost free. It's 0. If I'm switching to ice maker, it's 1. Okay. If the other one is the cooling valve number 2. So if I get a 0 in that one, it's telling me that it's off and the frost free. Okay. It is switching to frost free. If I have a 1, it's switching to the freezer. So if I had a 0, it means it's in the refrigerator section that valve is swapped. If I have a 1, it means that I've got it in the freezer section. So this would be good if I am a technician, all right, and the customer's complaint is, hey, it only cools in the refrigerator section. So I can go through and put this into the mode, and I can get the part code once I get 06. Okay, I know that if I've got a 0, I knows that that tells me that I am in it's in the fresh food section. If I have a 1 and I still get no cooling in the freezer, I'm going to have to go search and find for a leak probably. So if I have a 07 in the part code, I have a frost-free fan. Okay. Once again, 0 means that it's off. 1 means that it's on. If I have the condenser fan, which is 08, if it's off, I should have a 0. If it's on, I should have a 1. So if I have the compressor and the compressor is set to 1, and my condenser fan motor is set to set, and I punch it up and it has 0 in it, I have a problem. I've got a board problem. So I'm going to have to look for that. Okay. Because my compressor and my condenser fan are both wired in series. Okay. So the compensating heater, either 0 or 1, once again, 0 is off, 1 is on. Then I just keep going through if I scroll through it to the 15th, that tells me my ice maker heater, tells me if it's on or off. Okay. And I apologize because somehow Nick's stuff has gone, somebody has deleted the other one. So I have a dispenser heater. 1.8 is the ice maker injection pipe heater, which is very, I need to know that because with my water coming into it with the freezer in the coming in to the ice maker, if it's not turned on, I'm probably going to have a problem. So I probably want to make sure that is turned on, and I will get it so that I turn it on if it's not. The dispenser heater, once again, that's an important piece that you have to have. If the dispenser heater is not working properly, we have issues with water, and we have issues with stuff pulling out our standing water in it. So we just want to make sure that we didn't have any overflow. We have an ice maker fan. That is the 20th thing on this. So that's something that we definitely need to watch. Okay. My error codes. Before I get down to error codes, does anybody have any questions over what we have gone over so far? Anybody? Any questions? Okay, let's get back at it. So here are the error codes for my HRM260N. Okay. E1, I have a frost-free sensor error. If I have an E3, I have a freezer sensor error. If I have an E5, the flexible sensor is not working properly. If I have an E4, the freezer defrosting sensor is not operating properly. If I have an E0, my environmental sensor is errored out. I'm just gonna, on all of these, first thing I'm gonna do is for all of these sensors, the first thing I'm gonna do is unplug everything, unplug the sensor. I'm going to check the sensor to see if there's gotten any water into it. I'm also going to check to see if the connection is bad. Whenever I go to unplug it, I can tell if it had a good connection. If not, I may have to, like on several of the sensors that I have worked on before, I have actually had to use a zip tie to make sure that the sensor is connected all the way. One of the technicians before me on one that I had a bad frost-free sensor, I literally had to zip tie that because he had broken the little tab off. So it was as it got more and more use and turned on and turned off, it just never made good connection. Okay, so my humidity sensor is an E8. E9 is an ice maker error, and then EA is the ice maker sensor. So that tells me where my errors are. Okay. The other thing that I like about this is there's an inverter board error. Okay. Whenever I get there and I open it up, if I've got two flashes, okay, it's telling me that I have too low a voltage. So it's telling me that the input wattage, the input voltage is less than 165 volts. Okay. So we're going to have to find out why. I'm going to go to the plug. I'm going to check it out of the plug. If I don't have the correct voltage of 120 volts, I'm going to have to go and have the customer call an electrician. Okay, if it's blinking 3 times, it's telling me that my voltage is too high, and it's telling me that it is above 288 volts. Once again, I'm going to have to figure out, 110 and 288 volts. That will ruin a compressor. I can speak to that because I have a trailer that I just bought, and whenever I was hooking it up, I thought that it was 220 volts, and I put 220 volts to it, and it will mess up the compressor. So just be very careful. If I'm seeing this, I definitely am going to tell the customer, you've got too much voltage in this plug. I'm going to probably go around and check and see if I can find a different plug for them to be able to use. The problem is you cannot use an extension cord on this. Any refrigerator cannot have an extension cord that is plugged into. Okay. So if I get 4 blinks, it's telling me that I have too high a current. Okay. If I have 5 times, I have too high a temperature. Okay. The temperature on the inverter board is not working properly. The cooling system pressure is above abnormal, causing the fridge to overheat. And then the ambient temperature is too high. That's the 2 causes. Okay. If I have 6 blinks on it, the compressor is jammed. So I have a compressor that is bad. The inverter board cannot activate the compressor. So I have to go down to the compressor and verify that it has not shorted, or that there's not a leak in the system. I mean, it's a restriction in the system. So I'm going to have to go down and check all of that. Once I do that, it'll kind of tell me where I need to go. Okay. If I get 7 times, I got too high a power wattage. So the cooling system pressure is above normal. The drive module in the inverter board is broken. It could be one of those 2 things. So I have to go and check the inverter board. If I have the correct power coming into the inverter board and I don't have the correct power leaving the inverter board, I know that I've got a bad board and I'm going to have to replace it. Okay. Good thing about this is, remember, you have a 2-year warranty on this. Okay. If I have 8 blinks, okay, I have an open circuit. So it's thinking that the 3-phase of the inverter board is bad. So I could have a short to the compressor wires. It could be that the compressor is just not functioning at all, or I could have a bad module in the inverter board. So once again, power into the board, power out of the board, then check my compressor. I'm going to check power to my compressor, making sure that I have the correct voltage coming to the compressor. Then I'm going to check my compressor itself to make sure that it's not shorted to ground. If I have 10 times, okay, it's telling me that my hardware is demagnetized. So the phase current is too high, more than the SA. So the power of the inverter board is not correct. So it's telling me that that's the first thing I'm going to check. Power in, power out. If I've got those and those are right, that's not my problem. So I go down to the next one, and it tells me that my drive module in the inverter board is bad. Once again, I'm going to check power in, then I'm going to check power from the power coming out of that inverter board. Okay, the last thing is the output of the inverter board is just shorted to ground. So if I don't have the correct voltage, same thing that we've been talking about the whole time. I'm checking power in and power out. If I've got power in and it's correct, and I got power coming out and it's all messed up, either it's too high, it's too low, it's not showing anything. If it keeps moving and my power coming in is stable, that tells me I've got a bad board. Okay, 12 times. If it's blinking 12 times, I have no PMW signal. Okay, that there's no the main board is broken. The signal connecting the wires are broken. The signal connecting to the wires of the inverter board are reversed, or the inverter board's light coupling is broken. Okay, could be that. Could be a light coupling. You don't really. That's kind of the last thing that you ever check, really. But that's something that could be. Okay, so here is my cooling system diagram. Okay, it's showing you I have this electromagnetic valve. I have to know which valve that's in. So how am I going to know that? I'm going to go back out to I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Come on. I'm going to go right here. Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to check my codes. And my code is going to tell me if I have a problem. And it will tell me if I have a sensor or something else that's gone bad. Okay. But this valve, okay, it runs in either one of two. It runs in two. It's a switching valve. So it switches from either the freezer or the refrigerator. Okay. So this electromagnetic valve. Okay. So that tells me right there that I've got power that goes through that valve, and that's how it switches. So I need to know that so I can check that going through there. Okay. All right. So here's the complaint. Both the ice maker and the water dispenser and the light inside the unit are not working. So what's the first thing that I'm going to check? If the ice and chute are not dispensing and the frost-free lights are not turning on, the issue may be caused because the door is installed incorrectly. Reinstall the door, check the connectors at the top of the door. I'm going to make sure that my magnetic sensor is located in the top corner, is aligned properly. And I'm going to check the top cover to ensure the connectors inside the top cover are correct. The other thing is, it could be if I don't have any compressor either, along with these three issues, I could have it put into display mode. So you need to remember that. Keep that in the back of your mind. I can't tell you. I had one class that I taught, and that I actually no, it's 110. Andrew, it's only 110. That's why the numbers didn't make sense. So I'm talking about this, making sure that this unit is not in, well, I did that wrong, is not in the display mode. Okay. That's the only other thing it could be, is that these magnets, whenever it was installed. But if they've just gotten this unit, that's probably the problem. If it has been 9 months and I've just got this problem, the question I'm going to ask is, Miss Jones, what have you done anything up here? Have you cleaned things? Maybe she knocked the magnet off, because you never know about the people. but I'm going to check that, and I'm going to educate the customer if I deem that that's just one of the problems that I have. Okay. So my repair suggestion, I'm going to reconnect the contactors, which I'm showing it right here. Put the magnet sensor in the right position, like it's shown right here. Okay. The complaint: ice maker makes ice but won't dispense ice, but the water works fine. What could my problem be? Okay. So I verify pressed. This will cause the ice not to dispense if I have either one of that issues. Okay. So here's what I do. I reposition the mullion strip if I need to, and allow the door switch to close it properly. Okay. Ice maker not producing ice. Water is dispensed properly. Have the ice maker turned off and perform test by using the test buttons like we did. And I have no success. I get cube to crushed ice. That works properly. Okay. What are my repair suggestions? So here, if I look right here, I need to connect the back the cap connector to the blue ice maker. So you see that right there? That could be part of my problem. And you can see it right there. Okay. I'm going to hold the alarm in the fridge for 3 seconds. I'm going to press fridge switch, select the switch the middle 8/8 until it shows 4C. Then the left 8/8 will show the ice maker room temperature. The right 8/8 will show the ice maker evaporator temperature. Record both temperatures, unplug and replug the sensor at the back of the unit. I'm going to wait 3 minutes. Then I'm going to hold the alarm in eco for 3 seconds to enter repair mode. Then I'm going to press FC, that switch to toggle back to the 8/8 and the 0-3. Then press the eco switch to switch the right to 8/8 to 1. Then I'm going to press the FC to switch the middle 8/8 to 0-6. And then I'm going to press the eco switch to the right 8/8 to a 1. Okay, so that's going to be my check for that. Okay, I'm going to wait 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to hold the alarm eco. Then I'm going to release from the repair mode. Hold the alarm in the fridge 3 seconds. Then press the refrigerator switch to the middle 0-8/8 to show FC. Then the left 8/8 will show the ice maker room temperature. Oh, I doubled this one. I apologize about that. If it continues, the cap tubes have been reversed. Okay. If I've done this and it tells me that the cap tubes have been reversed, here's what I have to do. This is a sealed system. Okay. They have had some of these that got reversed. So I'm going to have to evacuate the system, cut and switch the cap tubes between the ice maker and the freezer section using the lock ring system, replace the filter dryer and recharge according to the model and serial plate. Okay. So once again, this all gets back to using the lock ring system, which allows me to ventilate this to the exterior of the house, or if I feel safe, I can put it into a bag. This is the way that I prefer, is to put it into a bag. Okay. Then I go ahead and finish. I finish doing it with the lock ring system, so that I have no spark and I have no chance of getting any in the ignition point through the unit. Okay. I'm going to start right here for just a minute. Does anybody have any questions? Excuse me. Okay, guys. Do you have any questions at all? Now's the time to let me know. Okay. So is everybody familiar with the lock ring system or one of the other systems that are out there for R600 so that I'm not cranking a torch up? Okay, because I don't care if you think you're the greatest torch guy in the world. At one point, you're going to slip up and you're going to have an ignition. And if I don't have a fire extinguisher and my echo ground for for it to tell me that I have a leak, I'm going to have problems, and I'm going to probably going to hurt myself, the customer's home. I have seen too many people get hurt because they thought they knew what they were doing. Because whenever you're messing around with R600, it's not a matter of if you're going to have a problem. It's a matter of when you're going to have that problem and how bad will that problem be. I tell everybody, yes. And this is R600. So you have got to use they recommend, the manufacturer recommends, they do not want you to use a torch. Okay. Please don't use a torch. What I was saying was I had a technician that I met that was from Texas, at one of the classes that I put on in Georgia, and he had a technician that was brand new. He told him, "Hey, just hang on. I'm going to go run out to the truck. I'll be right back. I need to get the right kit." Well, I mean the right lock ring kit. So he went out, coming back. All of a sudden, the place is engulfed in flame. It's because the kid cut the line and thought that he was going to help the guy, and almost burned down the shop that they had. It almost totaled the whole shop. So it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. Okay. All right. So my ice maker not making ice. Really? How many times of these? How many different problems have we ever had with ice makers not making ice? Me being around for about 40 years, that's the first thing that the customer will complain is that in the U.S. if they don't have ice, they have got to have ice. They don't like non-iced drinks. But if we were in one of the other countries, most of them don't use ice. So if I have a problem with the ice maker and it's not making ice, okay, I'm going to check. I'm going to check the ice maker temperature in the check mode. If you find the display reads HH, okay, then I know exactly what my problem is. Okay, replace the ice maker and recheck using the mode to see if the ice maker evaporator temperature is normal. If I get all that and it's showing good normal, I know that I had a bad problem, and I just replace the ice maker. If my ice maker and my freezer are not freezing, but the fresh food section is cold. What could this be? Okay. How am I going to check it? I'm going to check the frost-free temperature and the freezer evaporator temperature. Should be the freezer should be somewhere around -6. The evaporator, the freezer for the evaporator should be at around -38. Okay. I'm going to tear down the air duct to check the evaporator. Check if I found a frosting issue. I'm going to check the resistance from the MB found in the heater. I'm going to see if it's open. If it shows open, I'm going to check the resistance from the heater to the terminal side and found the resistance is normal. Next, I'm going to look for the root cause. Can be a poor connection of the heater connector. It's showing right here. They have had some issues with that. So we're just double checking all this. And it could have been this connection that's showing on the right side that I needed to repair. Okay. So my suggested repair is replace the heater. Okay. Measure the resistance of the heater from the MB side to confirm the heater connector is connected properly. Okay. So moving on, if I have a complaint, water is leaking from the dispenser area. How many times have you walked in and had water leaking? I had one that I was working on the other day. And that's exactly what would happen. You could push it in. You got water. As soon as you pulled it out, it still ran for about a second. So you had water that ended up in this tray. Okay. So the water line is not seated correctly. Check the water connector located at the inside top of the cover. Check and found the water pipe was not fully inserted. You can see it right here. Okay. Then I'm going to reconnect that water pipe, check it still, see if it's dripping after it's dispensing. Okay. So it should stop it from dispensing. If it doesn't, you're going to ask when was the last time you changed the water valve. When was the last time that you changed the water filter? Okay. My complaint, the whole unit is not cooling properly. Ice is also melting. The unit has been reset and was not left open. Okay. So here's what they have found. This is one of the service bulletins that is out there. Okay. Check the temperatures in the check mode. You may find that the evaporator is not cooling enough. Use refrigerant leak detector to check for leaks and discovered a leak on the evaporator lock ring location. They're showing it where it is right here. And I can already tell you that I can tell exactly where that one was bad. Okay, so what do? I evacuate the system. I cut out and remove that leaking joint. I reconnect reconnect everything using the lock ring system. Of course, I'm going to replace the filter dryer, which brings me to a very good point. Okay. So how many people out there Yes, you're exactly right, Hector. How many people out there, if I have a leak somewhere in my unit, do you always change your filter dryer? If I just have a bad compressor, do you change your filter dryer? I will tell you that as a rule of thumb, I always replace my filter dryer. If I crack open the system at any time, I am replacing that filter dryer. That is a rule of thumb that everybody should have. you will keep yourself from having so many problems if you don't. Dave, what is L? Always, yes. You're exactly right. I totally agree. You always have got to do these. Yes, you're right, Hector. Always replace filter dryers. If I crack the system, I'm always going to replace the filter dryer. Okay. Then after I replace that filter dryer, I'm going to recharge that unit. I'm going to recheck the temperatures in the check mode. I can usually just go ahead and let that unit run for a few minutes while I'm getting my tools together, getting them back out to the truck. I can then get out there and I can take my what's the word I'm looking for? Boy, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. I can check the temperature using whatever method that you use, but you can always, like it says, I can always go back and check it in the check mode. Yes. That's why you always replace it. Removes moisture stuck in the system that you've just opened up, and it'll get rid of any of the debris that are out there. Don't you get humidity when you change your filter? You'll get a minute amount because you have to remember there's no heat. Okay, I'm not using anything to heat this product up. Okay, and you're right, Hector. I do. I always pull a vacuum. Okay. So I'm going to recheck those temperatures, and then we're all good. So this right here, if you will copy this code, if you can take the QR code, this will help you get some technical support. If you're interested in becoming an authorized service provider, if you're not, you can contact Tim. Tim will give you a hand and getting you set up for one of the areas. All right. So I'm going to skip through this. This is the Easy Stock app. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. We had some really good discussion there about changing the filter dryer. Is there any questions that you guys have that you need to ask, or because there's never a dumb question? Okay. I'll tell you the first thing, I don't know everything. If I don't learn something every day, I feel like I've cheated myself. So I'm always looking to learn new things. Dave, I don't necessarily use nitrogen. Once I've swept charged it, I have not had enough problems that I needed to run nitrogen. If I'm confident that all of my joints have no leaks, I will go ahead and I don't use the nitrogen. But I see where you are. Can you get this class on PDF? I tell you what, Hector, my email is scrolling at the bottom of this right here. If you will send me your email, okay, I will give you a presentation for this. You can also always go out and look at it on YouTube. Once again, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay. And I haven't really figured out how to do the YouTube. Great thing. But yes, I will send you anything that you need. I will send you this presentation if you want it. I have no problems doing that at all. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? We got about another minute. I just want to make sure that we're all good. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Any problem, Hector? No problem at all. No problem. Okay, guys. Thanks, everybody. Everybody, I've got a little short video it lasts about a minute and a half. I'm going to ask you to hang around and watch it. Like I said, it shows the locations of all of your parts depots. So please go ahead and watch this. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time, and have a great day.